This is the new Savage 110 Core Predator chambered in 6mm Creedmoor. And it looks a little different from the last time it was on this channel. Now, if you've watched the first video, you already know this really isn't just another rifle review. We already talked about my history with Savage, why I bought another one after saying I probably wouldn't, and why I was cautiously optimistic before I'd ever even fired the first round. We also went over most of the features, the stock, the AccuFit V2 system, the MDT magazine, and everything else that made this rifle interesting to me in the first place. So if you missed that video, I definitely recommend watching it first because this one really picks up where that one left off. I'll wait.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
Oh, good, you're back. Since then, I made a couple of changes. I installed a Leupold backcountry 20-minute rail and mounted a Bushnell Match Pro in a worn Skyline mount. And now the rifle is pretty much set up exactly the way I wanted. And I gotta tell you, this scope has been fantastic so far, and I'm definitely gonna do a dedicated review on it later because I think it deserves one. But today isn't about the optic. Today is about finally answering the questions I've been waiting to answer since I opened the box. How accurate is this rifle? And after everything I've been through with Savage over the years, can I finally start trusting them again? We're gonna find out. Come on. Now, it's kind of funny because if someone had asked me what I expected out of this rifle before I took it to the range, I probably would have said something like, well, I expect it to shoot well. I mean, it's a Savage. Whether people love them or hate them, they've built a reputation on making rifles that shoot. Accuracy has honestly never been my biggest complaint. The thing that kept nagging me in the back of my mind was reliability. And that was the very reason I bought this rifle with a healthy amount of skepticism. So when I packed everything up and headed to the range, I wasn't just looking at accuracy. I wanted to see how the rifle behaved when I actually ran it like I would if I were hunting. I wanted to shoot different factory loads, work the bolt naturally, and see if any of those old concerns started showing up again. For this trip, I brought 7 different factory loads with me and put somewhere around 45 or 50 rounds through the rifle by the end of the day. That includes getting it zeroed and shooting all my groups. I figured that'd give me a pretty good variety of factory ammunition and hopefully tell me whether this rifle was picky or whether it would just shoot. The very first thing that stood out to me was the trigger. Now, I already knew I liked it because I'd spent plenty of time dry firing it beforehand. But there's a difference between dry firing a rifle and squeezing off that first live round. And that first shot honestly surprised me a little bit. Not because there was anything wrong with it, but because it breaks so cleanly that it was easier to shoot than I expected. Man, I've said it before and I'll probably say it again. Savage still makes one of the best factory triggers in this price range. And after this session, I don't have any reason to change my mind about that. The ergonomics were every bit as good as I'd hoped they would be too. The grip still feels great, and the cheek riser adjusted up perfectly with the new scope. Overall, it was just a really comfortable rifle to sit behind for a few hours. And over that course of time, the groups this rifle started producing were a little bit better than I expected. Going into this test, I would have been disappointed if this rifle didn't shoot sub-MOA. It's a Savage 110 in 6 Creed, so I figured it'd be pretty accurate. Take a look at this group at 100 yards. Yeah, that one got my attention too. And no, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that this is a quarter MOA rifle all day long just because it printed one incredible group. That's not the way it works. Most rifles will eventually surprise you with one group that's almost too good to be true. And that's what we have here. And that's literally one big hole. I mean, that's probably the best group I've shot in a long time. What impressed me wasn't that particular target. It's what happened after that. The second group with the same Hornady Precision Hunter ammunition measured 0.69 inches. That gave that ammunition an average of 0.44 inches. And for factory hunting ammunition, that's outstanding. And honestly, once I started measuring everything else, I realized this wasn't just one lucky box of ammo. This rifle seemed to like just about everything I fed to it. And for all the data nerds out there, here are all the numbers. Average group sizes, average velocities, everything I recorded during the range session. And if you want to study it a little closer, just pause the video real quick. The thing that really stood out to me wasn't one tiny group though. It was the overall consistency. Across 7 factory loads, this rifle averaged right around 0.695 inches. That's honestly better than I expected before I left the house for the day. The Hornady Precision Hunter was the clear winner, averaging 0.44 inches. But what impressed me even more was that most of the other factory loads weren't very far behind that. In fact, 5 out of 7 of the loads averaged below 3/4 of an inch. The only ammunition that lagged behind a little bit more was the Barnes VOR-TX. And that's kind of disappointing for me because every time I buy Barnes ammo, I really want it to be the winner. I like the bullets and I like what they're designed to do. But for some reason, I just never have really good luck getting Barnes ammo to shoot as well as other factory offerings. Now, just to be fair, an average of just over an inch is still perfectly acceptable hunting accuracy for a lot of people, and I'd have no hesitation taking it into the field to hunt. It's just hard to ignore the fact that several other loads in this rifle were cutting that group size almost in half. It's also worth noting that the Barnes load was the fastest one I tested of the day, averaging just over 3,090 feet per second. So if nothing else, it's another reminder that velocity and accuracy don't always go hand in hand. However, from a pure accuracy standpoint, I've got to admit this rifle really exceeded my expectations. I expected it to shoot well, but I didn't expect it to average under 7/10 of an inch across 7 different factory loads. That's pretty damn good. And honestly, that would have been enough to call this trip a success all by itself. But as impressed as I was with the accuracy, that still wasn't the thing I cared most about. Because the real question, the one that's been hanging over my head since the beginning of this series, had nothing to do with group size. It had everything to do with reliability, and that's where this story takes a pretty interesting turn. Now, here's the part I was honestly paying the most attention to all day. If you remember from the first video, I said the issue was never accuracy. The issue was trust. More specifically, feeding reliability. That's what had burned me in the past, and that's what I wanted to find out about this rifle. So naturally, every time I loaded the magazine and ran the bolt, I checked to see if I got one of those nose-up jams that I'd experienced with some of my previous 110s. And you know what? It never happened. Not once.
Not once.
Every round fed out of the magazine exactly the way it was supposed to. And for me, that ended up being one of the biggest surprises of the entire day. Well, sort of. I don't want to oversell it because we're still only talking about 50 rounds through a brand new rifle, so to me, that's not quite enough data to declare a victory yet. But considering my history with Savage, I left the range feeling a whole lot better than I expected to, at least about that particular issue. There's one thing I need to talk about though, and when I first got back from the range, I wasn't really sure what to make of it yet. There were a couple of times that I noticed a spent case hadn't completely cleared the action after I ran the bolt. At first, I honestly thought it might have been me. I've got this bad habit of trying to catch my brass as it comes out of the ejection port so I can stick it back in the box real quick. And so I thought I might have bumped it on accident. But as I started editing this video, and while I was going through the footage frame by frame, I found this. 2832. You can clearly see I didn't try to catch this one, and it didn't fully eject. So at least in this instance, I don't think I can blame that one on myself. Now let me be very clear here. This is not the same issue that I had in the first video. This is different. This rifle fed every single round from the magazine into the chamber exactly the way it was supposed to. This new issue is an occasional ejection problem that I only noticed a couple of times. Is that enough for me to call this rifle unreliable?
Ooh.
No, I don't think so. I don't think that's a fair conclusion yet, but it's absolutely enough for me to start paying much more attention to it. Overall, the action felt pretty much exactly the way I expected a Savage action to feel. Even though I think it's better than the other Savages I've handled, I still think it's got a little bit of that big, solid, clunky feel to it that Savage rifles have always had. It's not the smoothest action on the market. You're probably not going to mistake it for a Tikka, but after shooting a box of ammo through it or two, I also never felt like I was fighting it. The bolt lift was consistent, and the action actually seemed smoother as the day went on. The plan for this rifle is to eventually become my crossover predator rifle. It's going to spend a lot of time shooting steel and a lot of time chasing critters. And hopefully, it's going to spend a lot more years with me pulling the trigger. That's why I'm taking my time with this. I'm not interested in firing 20 rounds, making a bunch of bold claims, and moving on to the next project. I'd rather spend the time, gather the data, and tell you exactly what I find. Even if that means the answers come up being a little more complicated than I expected. Case in point. By the way, if there's a suppressor you'd like to see me run on this rifle, let me know in the comments what it is. I've already got a couple of ideas, but I'd love to hear what you guys think. And while you're at it, I'd also be interested to hear what kind of ammo your 6 Creed likes the best. Because after this first trip to the range, I think I'm going to be shooting this thing a lot more. So, after spending my first real day behind the Savage 110 Core Predator, where do I stand? Well, I'm impressed. But I'm still not ready to give you my final answer. And honestly, I don't think I'd be doing you guys any favors if I did. The accuracy didn't just meet my expectations. It exceeded them by a fair margin. I expected sub-MOA. What I didn't expect was how consistently well this rifle shot 7 different types of factory ammunition. And maybe more importantly, the feeding problems that I was worried about never showed up.
Not once.
Not once. That alone makes me feel a lot better about this rifle than I did before. At the same time, I also documented something I wasn't expecting. And I'm going to keep investigating before I make any final conclusions on that. And honestly, that's exactly why I wanted to make this into multiple videos instead of a single review. I don't want to tell you what I think after one day of shooting. I want to tell you what I think after living with this thing for a while. The issue was never accuracy. The issue was trust. And after shooting the 110 Core Predator for the first time, I'd say Savage has taken a pretty big step towards earning mine back. They're not all the way there yet, but they're a whole lot closer than they were a few weeks ago. Now it's time to put some more rounds through it, add a suppressor, and see where this story goes next. Because I got a feeling we're just getting started. And we're going to find out. I wanted to see how this rifle would actually behave when I actually ran it, actually how I would if I were hunting. We're gonna find out. I can do better than that. That was horrible. Still going. I'm gonna investigate. We'll figure it out. Good enough. And then be done with this video forever for the rest of our lives. That would be great. Boom.